one step closer to determining our final four that will compete for the championship in our season finale. Good evening, everybody. I'm Seth Cole. Welcome here to Talladega Super Speedway as we have just come off the heels of a very exciting race to start off the third round of the chase for the championship at Michigan International Raceway. It has set us up here for tonight's race, in which we will then set up our race next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the middle of the road, and what a road it has been. Michigan bringing the high speeds, but here tonight, it's going to be about drafting partners and being in the right place at the right time. And keep in mind, if one of our 8 playoff contenders go to victory lane here tonight, we are automatically looking at one of the drivers that will compete for the championship regardless of what happens next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, Michigan certainly played its part. We saw a number of drivers run well there, but we also saw a number of drivers struggle. As a matter of fact, 3 drivers come into this race a little bit behind the 8 ball after DNFs at the Michigan International Raceway. They include Garrett Sydnor, Anthony McCrury, and tonight's pole sitter, Daniel Guilbert. So, will they be able to combat the bad finishes they had at Michigan last week with a good run here tonight at Talladega, and especially get those very valuable stage points that will happen in our 3 stages here tonight? We're going to have to wait and see. Right now, one driver comes into this race with a very nice cushion, and that is Joshua Michaels. He's got 22 points between himself and second in the point standings after having that really good run at Michigan last week. So, not saying he's coming into tonight's race worry-free, but not nearly in as much of a desperate situation as the other 7 would be, as they have themselves pretty close together, about 27 points separating second back through 8th in the point stands. We'll fill you in all that in just a minute. Let's go down trackside and get command and fire up these engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
So Daniel Guilbert starting on the pole position, so that's certainly going to help him, but this track not necessarily known for, track position being a key factor until towards the end of the race. So we'll keep tabs on the 4 and see how long he can stay up towards the front of the field. But let's first give you your stages coming into tonight's race. 25 laps of racing, so the stages tonight are going to be 8, 8, and 9. A little bit longer than our Pizza Hut X Series stages were here last night. Now, the point stands coming to this race. This is how it's situated. We already told you Joshua Michaels has a 22-point advantage back to second in the standings, Trent Dunham. But then on down through that, Trent Dunham comes into this race only 5 points ahead of the cut lines. He's second in the points. Chris Dodd and Dylan Young right now are tied for that cut line position. They both are currently at 3,032 points apiece. So they are 3rd and 4th, but technically they are tied for that cut line position. Sean Galligan, he's 5th in the point stands. He's only 4 points behind the cut line. 6th in the points is Garrett Sydnor. 7th in the points is Anthony McCurry. 8th in the points is Daniel Guilbert. They struggled at Michigan last week. They right now are a total of 19, 20, and 22 points back from that cut line, respectively. They need stage points here tonight, and we'll see if they can get them during the course of this race. But those 8 drivers, they're competing for a championship. We've got another 31 cars in this field. They want to go to victory lane here tonight just as badly. So it's going to be a wild one here tonight. And of course, the dreaded big one could be looming around any corner. We saw a huge wreck in last night's Pizza Hut X Series race, and that was in the second half of the race. So will we see the big one strike here tonight? We'll have to wait and see. Also, we could see fuel strategy race for the first time this weekend as well, with it being a little bit longer of a race than it was in the Pizza Hut X Series race here last night. Daniel Guilbert getting ready to get us underway. J Arndt, who went to victory lane last week at Michigan. He's trying to go for back-to-back wins. I'm sorry, he didn't go to victory lane at Michigan. I apologize. I'll get that correct in just a minute. Green flag is out. We're underway here at Talladega. Let's roll. It was 2 weeks ago at Michigan that J Arndt went to victory lane. I apologize. Very interesting here on this start. In last night's Pizza Hut X Series race, the outside line got the run out of turn 2. And whoever it was that started on the outside, I think it was Daniel Olson, got the race lead. Guilbert was able to hang on to the lead out of turn 2 on the inside line, but he won't hang on to going into 3. Matt Haas will go to the top position. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in his championship season last year, one of Matt Haas's 2 wins actually came here at Talladega Super Speedway. I can look that up and find out, but I'm pretty certain that is the case. So I believe he is a former winner at this racetrack. And there you see Anthony McCrury. He's fought his way up to the front already there in the 61, realizing he needs to be up front, got to get those stage points, trying to make his way into the Final Four to compete for the championship. I believe McCrury has been in the Final Four in the season finale at least twice, including last season. And of course, season 1 was one of those seasons because he ended up winning that championship. Look at them all there, though, fanned out. See a couple of playoff contenders near the rear of the field, the 88 of Chris Dodd and the 44 of Sean Galligan. Now, Galligan is one of the drivers that really can't afford to run at the back right now. He's got to get up there and get some stage points because he's outside the cut line coming into this race. As Emmanuel Hartnett will make the move on Dylan Poteet for the race lead. Hartnett trying to go to victory lane for the first time this season. We've already documented numerous times that Emmanuel Hartnett in 5 seasons in Hersheys Cup Series competition has been to victory lane in 3 of them. He'd love to make it 4 for 5 and go into victory lane at least once in a season. McCrury now moves into second place. Right now, McCrury is the only one of the playoff contenders that currently is up inside of the top 10. Currently, last time by scored in 3rd, now going to lose second place to the 95 of Caleb Farrell, former playoff contender from this season. And indeed, the first Talladega race last season was won by Matt Haas, so I was correct in that. Seeing a playoff contender starting to work his way to the front, and that's Joshua Michaels. I mean, Michaels, coming into this race, he could basically leave tonight with a top 10 finish, and I think he's got a good opportunity of moving into the Final Four at Homestead with maybe a top 20, top 30 finish. He's trying to do just that. He wants to head into Homestead worry-free. Best way to do that would be to win this race, but he comes into this race with such good momentum after Michigan that he might just need a good finish here to make his worries even lighter heading into Homestead. Another driver starting to fight his way up towards the front is Trent Dunham. Second in the point standings. You would think that only one race into the 3rd round of the playoffs, as Cole Baker's coming to pit road, unscheduled stop for the 18, but you'd think only one race into the 3rd round that it'd be a little bit closer for the points lead, but no, 22-point gap from Dunham up to Joshua Michaels. And not certain what's going on with Cole Baker, a former winner here at Talladega back in season 3. That car doesn't sound like it's even running. I'm not hearing any engine sound from under the hood of that CSGO number 18. So something is obviously very much amiss on his race car, as Kyle Mathews is going to go for second place off of Benjamin Miles, a former champion in the Hersheys Cup Series. Apologize for my dogs. The only driver of the Retro Racing Enterprises stables yet to go to victory lane this season, that Kyle Mathews machine. His teammates Shelton and Sanford have already been to victory lane. As Cody Smart now going to go to the second position, and Trent Dunham right there with him in the 1. McCrury back up here into the top 10 as well. Joshua Michaels there as well. We're getting close to the completion of lap 8, which would end this first stage. So these drivers trying to keep themselves up towards the front as best as they can. It looks like Baker's returned to the track. So whatever the issue was on the 18, they've gotten him back out there. He's obviously lost the lead draft, so that's going to hurt him. He's got to hope for a caution, I think, before the leaders catch him, although I think he is already a lap down. No, they're scoring him on the lead lap. So he got off pit road before the leaders came around to lap him. Let's see when he crossed the line this time. Yeah, I think he's still on the lead lap. So Cole Baker, yeah, he's still in the lead lap, but barely. He just crossed the line, and the leaders are catching him quickly. So he needs a caution flag, but right now the leaders are racing double wide more than 3 wide. So I think that the chances of us having a caution are pretty slim to none. Hartnett's had a couple of laps out in front. Nobody's really challenged him. I think that might come to an end. Trent Dunham, James Richardson, Joshua Michaels all charging down the back straightaway. Richardson, the one's going to make the move on Trent Dunham. Now it looks like it's going to be Toyota Camry's 1-2 when they exit out of turn number 4. Trent Dunham right there, Joshua Michaels right there, Anthony McCrury also up here in the mix, all trying to stay inside the top 10 and get themselves some stage points. Another driver trying to crack the top 10 just behind Kyle Mathews. That's G Sydnor in the 38, trying to counter his poor finish last week at Michigan, as Richardson will lead this lap. So one Toyota takes the lead from another Toyota. Richardson now to the top position. Richardson looking for his second win of the season. A driver who had a win this year at Infineon but wasn't high enough in the point standings to make it into the playoffs. Joshua Michaels now in second place. Cody Smart moving into third. And one thing we don't think much about, but obviously for Joshua Michaels or any other playoff contender, they'd love to be able to win this stage. Why? Because that's a playoff point that they would carry into the season finale if they make it. But it will be denied to Joshua Michaels. The winner of stage 1 will be James Richardson. Michael's going to get stage points. McCrury gets some stage points, as does Sydnor and Dunham. So 4 of our playoff contenders are going to get some stage points here. Michaels will get 9. McCrury's going to get 5. Sydnor with 4, and Dunham will get 2. And that is really important for McCrury and Sydnor, especially with them coming in 6th and 7th in the point standings. They got stage points. Galligan, Young, and Dodd did not. So that makes it even closer for that battle. Chris Dodd was close. He's on the inside line behind Levi McIntyre there, trying to fight his way to the front, but just didn't get there quickly enough. He's now in the top 10, I believe. I think he's around the 9th position. I think he's taking 8th now from Emmanuel Hartnett. Cole Baker is tucked in line here. He's a lap down now, but obviously is still up to speed. Kind of playing a little bit of defense here for the 11 of James Richardson. Cody Smart, highest running rookie there in second. Gotta remember that 18 is not on the lead lap, and here comes Garrett Sydnor looking for second place. Goes low. Does anyone go with him? No. Sydnor left all by his lonesome there. It's Levi McIntyre up the middle that's got the drafting help with Emmanuel Hartnett. So McIntyre moves into 4th place. Sydnor now down low. Up top is Chris Dodd. They are battling right now for the highest running playoff contender in the field at the moment. Now Levi McIntyre runs for Metal Maniacs Motorsports, but he did at one time have himself aligned with Young Motorsports when he drove for them back in seasons 3 and 4. Right in front of him would be a, quote, teammate if he were still with the team. Cody Smart. Would those two Ford Fusions work together, do you think? And also you've got Garrett Sydnor and Chris Dodd back there. They're former teammates from last year. Would they work together? We're looking at this battle at the front, but I think we should also look towards the rear of the field, because that is one driver right there that is in big trouble. Sean Galligan has lost the draft. So too has Dylan Young back here with Cody Llamas, Brandon Gonzales, and Jake Baskinger. These are 2 drivers that could ill afford a poor performance here tonight. Daniel Gilbert also, who started on the pole, has faded way back here to the tail end of the field. I don't know if this is by design or not, but it's not going to help him get any stage points. As a matter of fact, Galligan's in danger of being caught by the leaders right now. And you know how we were able to head into Riki Raceway and we were able to head into Indianapolis, basically able to figure out a couple of drivers that we thought for certain were not going to make it into the playoffs unless they had some miraculous win to get themselves in the next round. Well, I think we're starting to build that here, and I think we're going to have some pit stops. I think Richardson's waving his hand. I think he's coming to pit road. And indeed he is. Richardson's coming to pit lane. McCloud, Keith Batson, Johnny Gardner, J.T. Bryant, Quentin Moore, Jessica Shelton, Matt Haas. They've all dived onto pit road. Miles is in. Trent Dunham, McCrury. Gilbert's in as well. Arndt, Hudson, Alvarise, K Shearer. And here comes Dylan Young along with the group that he was with. Gonzales, Llamas, and Baskinger. See if Galligan's going to come to pit road here. Probably he is. Yep, he's coming to pit road. That turned the race lead over to Levi McIntyre. It's a very important pit stop here for the playoff drivers because they're coming with about 3 to 4 laps remaining here in our second stage. And here comes a number of others down to pit road. Some drivers staying out. Garrett Sydnor in the 38, Cody Smart in the 12, Chris Dodd's in. Blaine Keys, Hartnett, Sanford, Michaels is in. Allan, Fitzwater, 2-time winner this season, went to victory lane last time out at Michigan. McIntosh, Tellier, Drayton, they're in. Garrett Sydnor and Cody Smart, they're going to come around and lap a couple of machines. Dunham in the 1, Shelton in the 0-2. Miles just ahead, as well as the driver that came to pit road as the race leader, James Richardson, just ahead of these two. Sydnor's got to get himself by the 25 here. He does. Cody Smart does not, though. 38 and the 12 got separated there. And now Sydnor may not have a drafting partner with him when they come off of pit road. He's coming to pit lane this time. Oh, Benjamin Miles is coming back to pit road. Or was Miles, did Miles stay out? No, Miles didn't stay out. He's coming back pit road for a second time. I'm pretty certain Benjamin Miles was on pit road already, as was Quentin Moore. I think they got some speeding penalties, the 25 and the 89. Yeah, stop and go for the 25. I think the 89 of Quentin Moore has to serve the save penalty. Something happened with those two. I don't know if it was a commitment line violation or if they sped. Stop and go for the 89, and he's down and away, and it looks like Caleb Farrell also suffered a penalty. Doesn't look like any of our playoff contenders suffered that fate. It looks like Levi McIntyre may cycle around as the race leader, provided he is able to get by Garrett Sydnor and Cody Smart coming off pit road. I think he's going to. Yeah, a lot of momentum there. Cole Baker right now on the tail end of the lead lap, just ahead of Levi McIntyre. And right there you saw McIntyre go around the 38. That was the pass for the race lead. Lane Keys in second, Richardson in third. And I think they're catching those drivers that had to serve the penalties there. Miles, Moore, and Farrell. Sydnor seemed a little slow getting up to speed there. Is he coming back to pit road? Not a 4. Let's see if he indicates to pit lane. No, he's not coming to pit road. Okay, so he just took a long time to get up through the gears there. He's going to get eaten up by this pack of cars, but he'll be able to merge with them. So after the cycle of pit stops are completed, Levi McIntyre is the race leader. James Richardson cycles into second. Third place is going to be Blaine Keys. Sanford in fourth. They're battling for that third spot right now. Fifth is James McCloud. Keith Batson currently is in sixth. They've separated themselves from seventh place, which right now is Emmanuel Hartnett leading this group. Eighth place, Jessica Shelton. Ninth, Cody Smart and Garrett Sydnor would be 10th. Then you've got Brooke Allen, Trent Dunham, Chris Dodd, Zachary Fitzwater, J Gardner, Matt Haas, K Tellier, Nathan Hudson in this group. That is back to about the 18th position. 19th is A Drayton, 20th is Kyle Mathews. Anthony McCrury has fallen ways back here. He's back now around the 22nd position. What about the rest of our playoff drivers? Daniel Gilbert running behind J Arndt. That was your front row right there. And they are now running in 27th and 28th. Dylan Young way back here. He is scored in 32nd. Joshua Michaels lost a lot of spots. I wonder if he got a penalty, because he's all the way back here now in 34th, just ahead of Sean Galligan in 35th. I think the 10 car may have actually gotten a speeding penalty and had to come down pit road, because he was up inside the top 10 around the time that the pit stops began. But up here in this lead pack, we've got 9 race cars. 8 of them are on, or make that only 6 of them are on the lead lap. Richardson, Batson, McIntyre, McCloud, Sanford, and Keys are the only drivers that are currently on the lead lap. The 18, Cole Baker, fluctuating between lap down and tail end of the lead lap. 89 of Quentin Moore and the 95 of Caleb Farrell are off the lead lap. They end up getting trapped because of that penalty. But I think, if you look back there, I think they're getting reeled in by this pack. And we're going to have about 7 laps to go. There's still plenty of time for that second pack to catch this lead pack. So it ain't over yet. These drivers up here cannot say, oh, we're going to finish in the top 10, because this race is not over by a long shot. It was about 5.8 seconds from the race leader back to 7th place Brooke Allen. Let's see what the gap is back to the second pack this time. Does it close or does it increase? And it actually closed, but only by about 6/10. They didn't gain quite as much as I expected they were going to. They have some cars up ahead that they're going to be catching as well. That is Miles, Galligan, and Michaels. It'll slow them up a little bit when they catch this group, but then when they get 3 more cars in their pack, it's going to help this lead pack to be able to pull away from that second group of race cars even more if they can get themselves lined up. So right now, the top 5 are single file at the moment, so that's allowing them to produce a lot more straightaway speed than that second pack of cars that's trying to run them down. And I believe when they came to pit road, I think we might be good to go on fuel, but a lot of times when we come here to Talladega, we think that, and these drivers end up being about 1 to 2 laps short. So we cannot say for absolute certainty these drivers are good to go on fuel, that this is the battle for the win, because we could see pit strategy come into play in the closing stages of this one. You got Richardson, a former playoff contender, won this season but didn't make it into the playoffs. You got Charles Sanford there, who made the playoffs but got eliminated after the second round. And then you got Blaine Keys, who didn't even get a win yet this season. Didn't make the playoffs, but last season was 7 points out of winning the championship. See them still single file there, and they have been able to maintain around a 5.2 second advantage between themselves and that second pack. If they continue to run single file, that lead is going to increase. That gap is going to increase. 5 laps to go here at Talladega. You know, you look here and you see some drivers that would love to get their first win of the season that it's surprising they haven't gotten it yet. Running back there in 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Keys, McCloud, and McIntyre. McIntyre going to victory lane last season at Lime Rock. Blaine Keys was, as we mentioned, runner-up for the championship last season, and James McCloud was a rookie last year, had 2 wins and made his very first chase for the championship. Right now, they are chasing James Richardson in the 11. Richardson leads another lap, ticks it away. We have 4 laps remaining in this one, and they are going to catch Benjamin Miles, Sean Galligan, and Joshua Michaels. None of these drivers have any alliance with any of the drivers up here in this lead pack, so I don't think they'll play any defense for any one particular driver. Richardson's going to go high on Benjamin Miles. Sanford's going to go low, and he's got help from Caleb Farrell. Can he get to the inside is the question. Yes, he can, but Richardson clears Miles in time. Does he clear Sanford, though? Sanford's got McIntyre. They're offering the drafting help. Out of turn 4, where are Michaels and Galligan going to go? In front of the leaders, who are now side by side. Richardson, Sanford, Chevy versus Toyota. 3 laps to go here at Talladega. The gap is increased back to 7th place, that second pack. And we got drivers just ahead on the tail end lead lap here, ahead of the race leaders. Galligan and Michaels, playoff contenders. Sanford on the bottom. Looks like he's been able to edge ahead for the moment. He's got the lap cars of Cole Baker and Caleb Farrell right behind him. Next car that would have to contend with him would be the 42 of Blaine Keys, who's on that inside line. Sanford right now has got himself in a lap traffic box of defense from the other drivers that are trying to take the race lead away from him. Now what Sanford's got to do is make sure Cole Baker doesn't get to his inside, because if he does, that inside line's going to freight train the 0-3, and that could bring Blaine Keys right to his inside, and Cole Baker's going to make the move. He's going to try and get back on the lead lap here. As a matter of fact, this, I believe, is a battle between himself and Joshua Michaels for position. So that's why Baker's making these moves. These are actually position spots he's picking up. Blaine Keys going to shift lanes. He's going to go up to the top side there. Leaves Caleb Farrell out to dry. And that's going to allow Charles Sanford to hang on to the lead, at least for the moment. And that might drop Blaine Keys back into a battle for second with Levi McIntyre and James Richardson. McCloud has lost this lead group. Batson has lost this lead group. He's actually just gotten swallowed up by the second pack of race cars. As the white flag is displayed this time, Sanford's got to make sure the 95 doesn't get to his inside, or else he might be in trouble. Farrell's looking, and Farrell is there! Richardson, can he use Farrell to get the race lead? And there's Levi McIntyre right there as well in the 99. Down the back straightaway, where's the drafting help going to happen? Richardson looks low. Levi McIntyre is going to go up the middle. And Richardson's going to take the lead. McIntyre clears Llamas. He's in second. Will he make a move on the 11? Richardson's got to throw the block. If McIntyre gets a big enough run, Richardson's going to go low. Richardson goes low on Baker. McIntyre stays up topside. No drafting help, but he's trying to get the slingshot with the help of Baker. Richardson's going to hang on, though, and Richardson gets his second win of the season, winning here tonight at Talladega Superspeedway. Richardson takes the checkers. He won earlier on this season at the road course of Infineon. This ain't a road course, but he had a strong race car after taking the lead away from Emmanuel Hartnett way back at the beginning of this race. He made himself known as a player in this event, and he closes the deal. He got a little bit of help from lap traffic in the form of Caleb Farrell to get the race lead from Charles Sanford, but boy, Levi McIntyre tried using Cole Baker as a little bit of drafting help on the top side, and it just didn't quite work. James Richardson, the last time we saw him racing full time was back in season 3. As we mentioned, he made it into the Final Four to compete for the championship. Not able to do that this season, but he gets the victory, and I believe this is now marks his first multi-win season. He had one win back in season 3, and he had one win back in season 2. I'm pretty certain this is the first time he's been to victory lane more than once in the Hersheys Cup Series. Yep, one win back in season 1 as well. So this marks his 5th career win, but only the first time in his career that he's gone to victory lane more than once in a single season. Mentioned that he made it into the Final Four back in season 3, but who's made it into the Final Four this season is the big question. We got to take a look here and see the finishing results, and none of the playoff drivers finished in the top 10 in this one here at Talladega. Richardson gets the win, McIntyre in second, Keys in third, Sanford fourth, Shelton there in fifth. So 2 of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars with top 5 finishes here at Dega. Poteet gets 6th, Hartnett 7th. Fitzwater, following up his second win of the season last week at Michigan, is going to get 8th, so that team's on a tear now. Nathan Hudson's going to get 9th, and Alex Drayton's going to complete the top 10. Highest finishing playoff driver was Trent Dunham, finishing in the 12th position. Then you go a little bit further down, you find G Sydnor finishing in 16th. Don't know how close that gets him to 4th in the point standings heading into next week. Then you got to go a long ways down. Anthony McCurry down there in 24th. Daniel Guilbert 26th. They needed much better runs than that to counter their poor performances last week at Michigan. And then we get down to the nitty-gritty even further down. Dylan Young, who came into this race in that critical spot in the point standings of 4th place. He's 30th here tonight. Chris Dodd, who came in tied with Dylan Young for that critical spot. He finishes 33rd out of the race due to a tire issue in the closing stages of this race. And Joshua Michaels came in the points leader, 35th. Sean Galligan came into this race 5th in the points. He finishes 36th place. This has definitely shaken the points up, I believe, heading into Homestead Miami Speedway. No doubt about it. Everybody finished the race, not everybody on the lead lap. Well, actually, not everybody finished the race because Chris Dodd apparently retired before the race was over. And that must have been on the last lap, too, because he managed to finish ahead of the lap down machines. Tough break there, though, for that 88 team who could have probably had a much better finish than what they got. So what do the points look like? This is going to be crazy when we get to Homestead, no doubt about that. But James Richardson, his first multi-win season happens here in Season 5. Good for him. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results. These are your rookie points, your overall points, and your playoff points with your 8 remaining championship drivers heading into our final elimination race next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway to determine our final 4 to compete for the championship here in Season 5. All 3 series are going to be there. Trucks, Pizza Hut X Series, Hershey Cup Series. We will be determining the final 4 in all 3 series at Homestead. Going to be a wild weekend. You're not going to want to miss it. Till then, though, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing as Best. We'll see you guys at Homestead next week.